Hello, welcome to Geometry. Go ahead and open your books to page 424. We'll go ahead and get started on the lesson. Sorry, let me adjust the camera. There you go. Again, always refer to your worksheet, lesson 64. I don't know what date it is. I'm trying to make these videos in advance, but just continue on. Make sure the book is in front of you. I don't know when I'm going to see you guys, so just make sure you guys are staying safe, staying indoors, and studying. In your worksheet, lesson 64, it talks about angles interior to circles. So there's two main things about this lesson. There's angles and then there's the arcs that are connected to it. So if you look here, an example, measure of angle ABC. So now we have to kind of picture outside the box because now there's an angle, that part of the angle is inside the circle and the other part's not. So if you look at ABC, this is entirely an angle. So here, angle ABC. So we're going to try to find angles. Again, this line is tangent to the circle, so it's right next to it. It's touching the circle at one point. So to find this measurement of this angle, it's half the size of the arc right here. So if this was 80, this angle would be 40 because it's half. But let's say if we have this, if this is 40, then this arc right here has to be double the size of that, and that would be 80. Same thing with the other side. So we have another angle from the other side. So to find this angle right here, that is equal to half the size of the arc. So again, we're dealing with angles and arc. So I have here a different picture or a different color so you can see the difference. So this angle is equal to double the size of the arc. So now here, example 1. And again, these are the equations. Example 1. So here we have the measure of ABC is question mark. So that means we have to look for the angle. I'm going to go ahead and use a different color. So ABC is this angle right here. We have to find the angle. According to the equations here, the angle is half the size of the arc. So if we look here, this angle is connected to this arc right here, if I can go over it. So if I were to write an equation, you don't have to, but the angle, ABC, is equal to half the size of the arc. The arc would be ADB or BDA, doesn't matter. So here, we don't have anything for ABC. That's actually what we're looking for. So this angle here, we don't have any number there. We're looking for that. Here, it's half the size of the arc. If you look closely, this arc is equal to 188. So that means to find this angle, it's half the size there. So if you divide 188 by 2 or you multiply it by 1/2, you get 94 degrees. B. Find the arc. So now we're looking for arcs. Remember, that little curve on top signifies arc. Here, we have a measurement of the angle. So here we're trying to find PR. So it's this one right here. We're trying to find that arc right there. We know that that arc is connected to this angle right here. So if we were to write the equation, it would be PRS, measure of angle PRS, is equal to half the size of PR. So we have one of the two things. Again, for equations for math, you're always looking for an unknown for x. But in this case, we're using letters. We're signifying PR for x because we don't know what it is. So here, we know that the angle is half the size of the arc. The arc is double the size of the angle. So the measure of PRS is the small measure here is 30. 30 is equal to half the size of the arc. Again, we're looking for the arc. We don't know what it is. You can do PR, RP, doesn't matter. So here, we're trying to solve for x. So we're trying to get the PR by itself. You have to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. 1/2, flip it, 2/1. Or you can divide both sides by 1/2. But whenever you have fractions, you always multiply by reciprocal. So then you get 2/1 times 30. Your measurement for PR is 60. So again, the arc is double the size of the angle. The angle is half the size of the arc. Next theorem, we have theorem 64-2. According to this, so this is not dealing with any tangent lines. Tangent lines, again, are the lines from the outside. It's just dealing with two lines on the inside. They are not radiuses. They are not diagonals. There are diagonals, I'm sorry, but they're not diameter. So here, according to this, to find the measurement here, it's equal to 1/2 the sum of the opposite arcs. So I have here, if we're looking at angle 1, so we're looking at the arc that's connected to, so this one, and you're going to be adding it by the opposite arc on the other side. So there's two lines. Looks like it's a weird form of an X. So to find the angle, it's half the size of both the sum of the arcs on the opposite sides. So for measure of angle 1, it's half the size. It's 1/2 times this plus this. So it's the sum of the two arcs. Next one, measure of angle 2. So to find this measurement here, it's 1/2 times the sum of the two arcs. So this 2 is connected to this arc, and you have to find the opposite arc that's connected to, and that's the other side right here. So I have it in color coordination. If you need to screenshot this or pause it when you do your worksheet, that's fine. But right here, I have it color coordinated, so it's easier for you to see. Example 3. So example 3, you have to find x. Here, we have x. The arc that's connected to it is this one right here. And we have to find the opposite arc that's connected to it, and that's the arc right here. So if we were to create an equation, the measurement of x is equal to 1/2 times the sum of the two angles. I don't have the numbers there. So that means to find the measurement, it's the measurement of an angle. So in this case, it's x. That's what we're looking for. That is equal to 1/2 times the sum of the opposite arcs. The opposite arcs, it's what I already color coordinated for you. It's 70 and 195. It's always sum, you're always adding. So now it's 1/2 times the sum of the two arcs, 70 plus 195, 265. Make sure that's correct. Yep. And then after that, you do the last part of the math problem, which is dividing by 2. You get 132.5. So again, the measurement of the two diagonals there is equal to 1/2 the sum of the two arcs, two opposite arcs. Example 4, last one. That's a word problem, but I'm not going to read it for the sake of time. So we have another one, just like theorem 64-2. So again, there's a lot of theorems, but now they're dealing with equations. Here, example 4, we have an angle 1. We have to find what measure of angle 1 is. So now, before you write an equation, before you solve it out, find the opposite arcs. The opposite arcs, so 1 is connected to this arc right here, and the opposite arc to that one is this one right here. So if I were to create an equation, the measure of angle 1 is equal to 1/2 the sum of the two arcs. So it's 1/2 times the sum of 50 and 86. And then simply solve. So to find that, all you do is go ahead and solve. So this is 136, divide that, or multiply that by 2, or divide by 2, doesn't matter which one, and you end up with 68. So fairly simple, just make sure you have your worksheet in front of you. Do your worksheet before you do your quiz, and make sure you're always watching these videos. Again, there will be a test on Friday. It will be review over everything. It's going to be about 15 to 20 problems, depending on how I feel. I'm just kidding. I want you guys to review. I want you guys to understand what you're doing. So you are learning at home, so make sure you are taking it seriously. I do miss you guys, and I hope to see you guys soon. Have a great day.